Hello, and welcome to our presentation on Sol Invictus. I am Angelo Telucci,
And I'm Brian Tillack.
and let's jump right into it. So first of all, what was Sol Invictus? Sol Invictus roughly translates to unconquered sun. He was a Roman sun deity popularized in the late 3rd century. There are not many written documents that survive about Sol Invictus, so his origins are unclear. However, it is believed that he is connected to several other deities that were worshipped throughout Rome throughout history. Another notable thing about Sol Invictus is that it is one of the most popular and widespread of the mystery religions. So moving on, let's go over a little bit about what mystery religions were. Mystery religions were cults that tended to focus on one deity. The deities that were focused on tended to come from the East. They had mimetic rituals, meaning the participants would act out certain things to worship their deity. It had a tiered membership system. So as someone progressed through the ranks of the cult, they would be shown more of the quote unquote mystery that was associated with the deity. They were closed communities and they tended to supplement Roman religious public worship. They also had initiation rituals that included things like ritual eating, ritual cleanings, and that type of thing. They also believed in an afterlife. So as I said previously, Sol Invictus was believed to have been influenced by many other deities that were worshipped throughout the Roman Empire. The first of which that we're going to go over is the deity Sol. Sol was an early Roman sun deity who had an epithet indigenous. His cult stretches back to the Republican period and even to the founding of Rome itself, according to some sources. Sol Indigenous is noted to be much more agrarian and rural as compared to what Sol Invictus would eventually become. And he also has connections to the even older Greek deities of Apollo and Helios, all of which are associated with the sun. Another deity that is believed to have ties to Sol Invictus was Elagabal. Elagabal was a Syrian sun deity who was associated with a black meteor that fell in the Syrian desert. He was popularized by the Emperor Marcus Aurelius Antonius Augustus, aka Elagabalus, who, prior to his ascension to the Principate, was the chief priest of Elagabal. Upon his ascension to the emperor, Elagabalus brought the meteor to Rome and tried to elevate Elagabal above the Roman deities. Among other weird things that Elagabalus would do, this is one of the things that eventually got him assassinated. The final deity that we're going to go over is Mithras. Mithras was an Iranian deity who was thought to have been brought to Rome during the various wars with the Persian empires. The Mithraic mysteries were some of the most widespread and popular of the mystery religions. Mithras has associations with bulls, the sun, and victory.
The next slide is on Emperor Aurelian. Emperor Aurelian lived from 214 to 275 AD and was the Emperor of Rome from 270 to 275 AD. Aurelian was also a large contributor to the ending of the crisis of the 3rd century by kicking barbarian groups out of Rome and suppressing several rebellions. He eventually was able to reunify the Roman Empire. Due to this, Aurelian gave himself the title Resistutor Orbis, or Restorer of the World. Aurelian elevated Sol Invictus to the main god of the Roman pantheon during his reign. Aurelian used Sol Invictus to unify the Roman Empire. The next slide is about why Sol Invictus. Sol Invictus's origins remain unclear, but some possibilities include Rome, Persia, Syria. This diverse background of inspirations made it easier to unify all of the different groups of people living in the Roman Empire under one god. Many emperors through the reign of Constantine used the iconography of Sol Invictus as the unconquered sun for their own benefit. Sol Invictus was introduced to be a common god all members of the Roman Empire could worship without betraying their own gods. The next slide is on the cult of Sol Invictus. The Temple of the Sun was the central location for the cult of Sol Invictus. The temple was located in Campus Agrippae and was dedicated to Sol Invictus on December 25th, 274 AD. Sol Invictus was considered to be a god of victory and was also believed to be the patron of soldiers. Sol Invictus also presided over chariot races. The temple was shut down during the 4th century AD due to the persecution of pagans during this period. The next slide is on the festival for Sol Invictus. Aurelian created a new festival for Sol Invictus held on December 25th. This festival was called Dies Natalis Solis Invicti. 36 chariot races were held on this day instead of the usual 12. The next slide is on the connections to Christianity. The festival for Sol Invictus was held on December 25th and was likely a major inspiration for the date of Christmas. The cult of Sol Invictus believed one could be purified through a baptism, which is a commonly held aspect of Christianity. The iconography of a sun or halo behind Sol Invictus is also commonly found on depictions of saints from Christianity, as seen in the picture on the slide. The cult of Sol Invictus honored Sunday as the day of the sun. This is similar to Christian belief that Sundays are for worship and rest. The cult also believed in and practiced self-control and abstinence, which are also preached heavily by Christianity. And the next slide is our bibliography, and that's what we got.